Hi, stop scrolling down if you want to learn why procurement and finance fight all the time during a procurement transformation. So here's my three reasons for the day as to why finance and procurement fight. Reason number one, the right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing. So this is the most important reason, and I keep seeing this as a major issue. What do you mean by right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing? It's an issue with communication, change management, not involving each other at the right point in time. So usually what I hear from the procurement guys is they don't involve finance at all. They realize it when their CPO says, have you got this approved from finance? And then they end up sending the document to finance to approve, and then finance creates a big fuss out of it. So that's a bad situation to be in, and it's definitely born to have fights. Now, the other thing from the finance side, even if you did involve finance on the procurement transformation right at the beginning, finance usually thinks a procurement transformation as maybe the 8th or the 9th thing on their priority list, because they don't think of it as something that relates to finance because it's mostly owned by procurement. So that also leads to a lot of issues, and there are many other examples that I could quote as to why the right hand needs to know what the left hand is doing. So that's my first point. Let's jump to the second one. So my second point out here is having a data disaster. So what do you call a data disaster? A data disaster out here is procurement allocating spend in the wrong ledger or sub ledger, which would again in turn make the expenditures to be inaccurate. So it's key that you involve finance, at least when at setting up the hierarchy for the categories and so on and so forth. That's one on the data side. The other one on the data side that you could that comes to my mind is the definition of savings. For procurement, savings is the cost the cost to procure versus whatever the market value is, or any other external tool that they validated against. Okay, so that's what savings is for procurement, whereas finance always tries to validate it with an internal information, something like a past purchase or the budget that we had. So there needs to be a clear-cut definition on what savings definition is. We don't want both the teams going in two different directions, and this way you'll have more governance on the data as well as the savings reporting or compliance as such. Now, my last point that I have is usually is who will enter the bank details once the procurement transformation is done. So this is one piece that usually when procurement is owning a new transformation which involves finance, and they don't involve finance much, usually the bank details in the old days are entered by finance in the ERP because they hold the accounting and all of that information for the payments to go through. So on the supplier registration piece, the bank details were going to be entered by finance manually. So that in turn there'll be a specific limit of characters or certain information. So where I've seen issues is procurement straight goes in bank details and also approval flows to some extent. So procurement usually just thinks that they know all about finance, and they just go in and give the software provider the current workflow that finance is using and looking at implementing that. But maybe finance has some new enhancements that they want to make. Maybe there's some pain areas that you'd like to fix. So these are the two areas that I see. So it's key that you involve finance during the deployment, at least to highlight this one piece where you want to understand how they want the bank details to come in. Do you want the supplier to enter it, or would it shift to procurement entering it, or it could be still finance will be doing it? So these are my three reasons for procurement and finance to fight. See you next week with my next video. Thank you for watching me. Bye-bye.